Look at that quality intro, always put together by that our best buddy, who your cop friend that you were arresting people with last night. Mentioning Mad
Oh,
Mari,
you talking about Officer Mad?
Officer Mad. Like neither one of you can drive, but it's okay. So for welcome to the
I'll
Ascendant
tell
Art
you what, the
podcast.
driving controls in that game are real splashy. Like, they're real splashy.
Worse than Grand Theft Auto like 3 back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. So, all right, welcome to the Ascendant Art Podcast, episode 58. I'm your host, Lil Chad, with my co host, Slender Dad. We are talking about because Slender did some game streaming last night with Mad Margan of Mad Barber Entertainment, Mad Cheesemo, whatever name you want to dub him for that. And they were playing, was it Police Simulator?
That is correct. We were issuing a lot of parking tickets. Um I may have negligently discharged a round into a storefront at one point. Mad may have pointed a taser at somebody who probably shouldn't have had a taser pointed at him.
I think you
Um,
lost points for that.
we would make great police officers, and
He was a
eventually they
police
gave us a
officer,
car.
though. He was a police officer.
Yeah, I know, but clearly, based on his performance yesterday, we would make great police officers.
As long as you didn't you lose points for profiling some people too? Just stopping them in a crosswalk
I think I lost points for frisking a lady.
for no reason.
She had a very, very suspicious name on her ID card.
Oh, just was it McLovin? Because I watched a few minutes of it and I watched the highlight reel that Matt's put up, and I just for some reason it just struck me as you guys being the cops from Superbad. It was what stuck in my head. The two
Well,
of you just
I
going
mean, that's
around.
high praise, little Chad. Thank you. Thank you.
Especially when you were just shooting the rounds off into the into the storefronts. Which, by the way, you did not lose points for, right?
No, I did not.
So Mads lost points for pointing a taser at someone, but you did not lose points for shooting your your duty weapon into just a building.
I did not point the gun at anyone. So,
Nice. Well, on a fun note, so for those of us who were here last week or listened or watched in the time in between, you guys may know that we were doing a deep dive, a big old deep dive on Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro, Dungeons and Dragons, and the original the game license that they were planning to update. And Slender, I think we got an update today on what Hasbro's doing with that, and Wizards of the Coast have done. Now, why don't you share with everybody what the update is?
oh yeah, we got a real big update. They have backed off the entire trying to shoehorn in this new OGL. They said that they are going to leave the OGL 1.0 alpha in place, and they're going one step further, and they are opening the SRD 5.1, which is basically 5th edition D&D. They are opening that to the public with a Creative Commons license as well.
So kind of this just I'm kind of interpreting this is a full retreat, right? This is like basically giving up 100% of what they had been trying to do.
Yes. Now, that being said, the one thing that is not happening is they are not making any moves to enshrine OGL 1.0 in perpetuity. So they could always change their minds 6 months down the road and try to spin this whole monster right back up. But with the damage that they did this time around, I think it will be some time before we see them try to do this again. Because they lost a lot of customers in a very short period of time. I mean, it's kind of all hearsay because you don't have the numbers, but from what I heard, they lost thousands of people who were subscribed to 1D&D, which is kind of their virtual tabletop platform that they're trying to build. And they lost thousands of subscribers off of that in a very short period of time. And I mean, this is a great move on their part. Good on them for finally seeing the light and pulling their collective heads out of their asses. but it may very well be too little too late. And I would imagine you're probably going to get at least a quarter of the people, probably more, but at least a quarter of the people who left aren't coming back.
Yeah, because we talked about this in our deep dive last week that there's a lot of other game systems available. You don't have to be married to Dungeons and Dragons. What makes the Dungeons and Dragons experience really good is the dungeon master and the crew of people playing it, not necessarily the game system. That's what I really kind of feel like is that whether it's Pathfinder or any of the other ones, if you've got a good crew of people and especially a good DM, which means dungeon master, not private messaging in this context, you're going to have a good time and you're going to be able to make it work regardless of system. I mean, you went into all your street cred for playing D&D. Am I wrong with kind of thinking that's really what matters is having the good DM and just a crew of people who really want to have a good time?
No, I mean that's probably the single most important part. I mean, Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro do not make your game. Like, your table makes your game. The people you play with, the person who's DMing, like, they all contribute to your game. The books are just giving us stuff to work with. Like, I've played at a few different tables, and some of them I did not enjoy. Others, yeah, every chance I get, I would be there playing that game. But it really does depend on who's sitting at the table with you.
And so I'm going to switch the screen we're sharing because I feel like I think we've got the explanation on why they did their full on retreat as quick as they did. That article was saying it was a surprise move that we didn't expect that. Well, if you read any of the financial websites and news stations, here's why you can expect that they were going to do a full retreat. This was just yesterday on CNBC. Hasbro is warning of a weak holiday quarter, and for a toy company, let's just be honest. The holiday season is their absolute pinnacle of their year, and if that was weak, that's a problem for you as a business when you're a toy company. They're going to apparently cut up to 15% of its workforce. And if you read this key point, the third key point in the story is that they're still saying Wizards of the Coast, including Dungeons and Dragons, will remain the bright spot for the company. And as we talked about last week, Wizards of the Coast represents a giant, significant portion of the profit that Hasbro generates as a company. So if they blew that up and they had thousands of people canceling their subscriptions, that could be a real big mess for them. And I think it gives a pretty clear explanation why they backpedaled so fast to try to stop the bleeding.
I will say, though, that is a bold statement. And we're going to have to see
remain a bright spot.
Earnings reports before we know whether or not Wizards remains a bright spot after this fucking shit show.
It's a bold move, Cotton. It's a bold move.
We'll have to see how it works out for them.
Well, let's see. Yeah, let's see. What's it going to look like? Yeah, first quarter we should know because by then all those canceled subscriptions would have to be accounted.
I mean, you still have the stock numbers pulled up, right? Like, you can look at the plot of their stocks over the last couple of months.
Yeah. So here's Hasbro's stock. They were down $5.17 today, which is 8.11%.
Yeah, I guess that announcement didn't boost their value any, unfortunately.
Well, you can look at the time of day, right? So this is the beginning. And I think what happened is when they made that announcement, what that told stock traders is like, oh shit. We thought Wizards of the Coast was still going to be printing money, so Hasbro was okay. Maybe they're not going to be having that. Hey Rob, welcome to the show. Yeah, we're just we're talking about what's good and what's really good. What's not really good is Hasbro stock. What is good is for gamers who play Dungeons and Dragons. The original OGL will stand as at least for right now because Hasbro is getting clocked on their financials and they could not afford to have Wizards of the Coast not make money.
Yeah, they have fully admitted defeat at this point, I think. That being said, as I pointed out before, remain vigilant because you never know. In a year, they might decide they want to go to war again.
Okay, then what's not really good? Because I think we just talked about that. What Hasbro is dealing with is not really good. Hey, in D&D terms, what would the role that Hasbro did when they, like, hey, we're going to release a new OGL and it's going to help us continue to, print money? I'm guessing they just rolled a straight one.
I mean, I feel like, with the way they were trying to do it, maybe a diplomacy check would be in there. So they definitely rolled a natural one on their diplomacy check, probably a couple of times. Since they were trying to sneak it in and use these NDAs to get these other collaborators to sign on to the new OGL without the public at large knowing, I guess they probably failed a stealth check as well.
Yeah. Whereas on the other hand,
definitely if they were using any sleight of hand checks also failed.
And I'm guessing we could turn that around and say that the fans, the players, rolled a natural 20 and just housed them.
Yeah, if we're talking about a post check, yeah.
Because this is, I just, what I'd like to see is if they've scared off enough of the big creatives. We talked about it last week. The people like Critical Role. The ones who are really in that space making content off of D&D, who were
I don't know. Critical Role only made one statement about it, and it was very much they were trying to ride the fence kind of statement. Like they didn't take sides. They were like, we support this and we support that, but they never openly condemned Wizards or openly threw all their support behind the creators. And I mean, they've got a lot of stuff probably tied up in partnerships and legal that told them they can't do that. And what you have to remember is, while Matt Mercer, no one questions his gamer cred. He is very much a DM and he loves the game and everything else. But he is one person in that company and he's kind of the face of the company. At the end of the day, Critical Role is a company and they are not going to do things that threaten their bottom line.
And threaten the bottom line this did. I feel like
and that is why I think they tried very hard to ride the fence.
Yeah. So, and Hasbro, I think, like CEO level of Hasbro, probably from up on high, sent down the word to Wizards of the Coast management to fix this now. And then Critical Role and all these other guys probably had an inkling that maybe we just, ride it out, not rock any of our boats yet because we don't know what this is actually going to look like.
Oh, yeah. And with any luck, after this huge debacle, that CEO from Microsoft, I can't remember her name. Hopefully she gets fired.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not. You're brought on to try to. What was it? They were like. They said that they felt like the players were under monetized, and they were going to figure out ways to fix that. And then you end up instead blowing up your entire fan base. And
what a thing to do too. Like, if you make a statement like that, it should never reach the public because basically what you said is we want these little fuckers to give us more money. Like the player base is under monetized is a fancy way of saying these assholes don't pay us enough. And you should probably never say that to your customers.
And gamers, I think, are actually a little bit savvier than they used to be about microtransactions and being manipulated into purchasing add-on content and this and that and the other. So when you make a statement like that, it's not like 15 years ago it might have gone unnoticed. It might not have been picked up on. People maybe might have moved on.
No, we were all like we were like the original gamers. Like we were very much the nerds that movies were made of back in the day and everything. And back in our teens and our 20s, Oh yeah. We were horribly, horribly irresponsible with our money. If there was an opportunity to spend money on something stupid like a D&D book that like just dropped and we might not have even needed, we would spend that money. But we've grown up a bit. And I hate to say this, but you are not going to get the younger audience that you are after without our help, because almost everybody who gets brought into tabletop RPGs is brought in by someone who has been playing tabletop RPGs for a while. Like, there are very few groups that just spring up all on their own and learn as they go. They usually get brought in and learn through some group that's already been playing the game.
Yeah, because there's definitely a barrier to entry compared to other games. I mean, that's something that people are always saying. I played Destiny pretty solidly for a few years, and there was a big debate within the Destiny community when it was transitioning from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2 about casual gamers and making the game comfortable for them versus the hardcore gamers, because you didn't want to have a barrier of entry to keep people from wanting to play.
Mm-hmm.
And in RPGs, especially tabletop RPGs, there is, I think, a pretty solid barrier of entry where you need someone to act as basically like a Sherpa, like a guide to
Yeah, when
say,
you're getting
welcome to the
started,
door.
it's
Yeah.
it's really hard to just like pick those books up and go. Like, you can do it, but it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. And especially for people who aren't really going to D&D, like going to DM, but they just want to play. Like, they don't want to read through those books. They just want to get their character sheets, start rolling dice, and playing the game. You know, that's what they want to do. And you can't do that without help. If you don't have help, you got to get in there and read everything and learn. And then, you know, on top of that, you mentioned something, and I'm just going to go a little off on the aside here, but like the reducing the barrier to entry thing, to a certain extent, I agree. We should try to make the barrier to entry as low as possible. But when you keep simplifying and simplifying and simplifying, like for example, fourth edition, which was probably the least successful edition of D&D, where they tried to basically make it more like an MMO. The problem with lowering that barrier to entry over and over like that is you are also raising a barrier on the people who want to stay. Like, if you keep oversimplifying this game and making it less and less complex and less, you know, varied and able to be played with, there's less for me, the veteran player who has been doing this for 20 years, to stay. You know, like, I like the complex stuff. I like min-maxing. I like, you know, tweaking this number or that number and adjusting these and trying to make the most optimal characters. So there's a middle ground. I don't know. I don't. It seems like they're going toward the direction of simplifying, so that everyone can play. But like I said, I think more and more that's not going to hold the veteran players, which is why so many of them have gone back to like first and second edition. They're playing old school D&D.
Exactly. I mean, these books are available. They can't, they can't unring the bell. Hasbro and Wizard of the Coast, no matter what they want to do, can't make it so that these books weren't published for years and aren't available and aren't a resource that other, the gamers can still fall back on. When you're dealing with people who tabletop game, who use character sheets and the DM sets up like the campaign, there's nothing that requires them to use your new system and your new rules if they don't want to. There may be
No, and
more
the idea that
stuff.
like
Yeah.
that Wizards is entitled to some piece of that pie, it's like you've done none of the work, man. And if you keep trying to push to the one D&D, here's the thing. One D&D as a virtual tabletop environment may be a cool thing. But I think there are more people than they realize that don't do D&D because it's a game. They do D&D because it's a social event. Like, I get together with some of my buddies from the Navy, and like we all get together and we play D&D. But like, we're really only spending about half our time together playing D&D. There's a lot of bullshitting, having a few drinks, talking about the good old times. Like, it's not just we're sitting down to play D&D and nothing else. And they're going to lose that. They're going to lose that if they just keep trying to push forward with this. We're shifting everything to the virtual tabletop environment.
Man, Slender, you're painting a picture of like a straight up Glory Days Bruce Springsteen video, but with with D&D.
Yeah.
Just sitting around talking about our campaign Glory Days. But yeah, it's the gaming balance is a tough question. I do appreciate that it's hard when you've got a system or a game or any RPG really leans into this problem. Like even WoW had this problem for a long time where after it'd been around a few years and people had finished the end game content, they had the hardcore player base but they still wanted to expand and grow and they had to keep trying to, and it's a hard mix to get right.
Well, and WoW did it exactly wrong. They brought it in, and there was a level of complexity there that a lot of players found appealing and enjoyed. And then, as it progressed, they dumbed it down, like to absurd levels, where it was like, okay, I can't even really build my character anymore. Like, sure, you're giving me a couple little options here and there on customization, but for the most part, you are going to be one of 3 different archetypes, and that's it. There isn't a whole lot of, variety. And that hurt the game for me. Like, I like that level of complexity where I can actually tool around and have fun. So, I mean, they probably brought in a lot more, more casual players, so to speak, but they probably lost a lot as well. So, it is where's the balance? Like, where's the middle ground?
And that's why when we come back to Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast, that's where I'm like, it boggles my mind. You had a golden goose that you didn't have to really mess with, and for the last couple of years, they've been dicking with the hardcore player base and just kind of screwing with them and that's the lead up. We went over that in the deep dive last week. So I think the message that we ended with last week for people regarding Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast still stands, which is don't trust them. They may be doing this short term to try to get you back.
Yeah.
Because they have to, because financially they're getting clobbered. But as soon as they're in a position to financially absorb it or swing it, they are going to they've told you what they want to do. And I don't see why we should believe that they're going to completely abandon that as a philosophy.
Yeah, I mean, this is my personal opinion, and this is not advice per se, but my personal opinion is I still don't trust it. I feel that the newer editions of Dungeons and Dragons are getting more and more hollowed out, and there's less and less there. And I'm still probably gonna push to go to Pathfinder. Like, Pathfinder just looks like a better game to me at this point.
Yep. So I think that's a good spot to kind of move on from this topic. I think we've, between our entire show almost last week and the beginning portion of this one, we've really covered, I think, in a lot more detail than a lot of places, what to expect from Hasbro, the game license, and all that. Now, what is an interesting kind of transition to the next thing that I'm going to talk about, because I signed up for this and I can speak to my previous experience, is MoviePass is relaunching. Do you remember MoviePass when it was in the news?
MultiPass?
Yeah, it's basically that's what it was, right? Do you remember a couple years back when it made a big splash? The
I remember
MoviePass?
hearing about it. I'm confused as to why it says excluding Southern California and New York metro area.
Oh, because they have a separate plan rate for those ones. See, because
Oh,
it costs.
are they
more.
shitty? They're shitty.
Yeah, because so to get the minimum plan there, you have to pay $20 a month, Everywhere else in the country, it's only 10.
Yeah, that sounds like Southern California and the New York metro area. All right.
Yeah, because it's because the theater price points are so high.
Yeah.
So MoviePass a few years back, they made a big splash. They were giving unlimited. Basically, you could see a movie a day, one movie a day, unlimited for for a month for like $10 or $15. It was ridiculous. Like you could totally crush that, and I did. I had MoviePass. I got it. Everybody wondered like, how do you make money doing this system? I 100% knew they weren't going to make money. So they had two plan options. It was like pay by the month or pay an annual fee. And the annual fee was a little bit cheaper and you got a break. And I knew some people were like, oh, I'm going to do the annual. I was like, no, don't touch the annual because this thing is going to go under. And when it does, you need to make sure that you've gotten your money's worth every month. And if you've done the annual, you probably won't. So I did the monthly plan. All I needed to do was see like 2 movies in the month and I covered it, but I abused the heck out of it. I was going like 3 times a week. I was crushing their numbers, I'm sure. I have no idea how they monetized it properly, but they went bankrupt. They closed down. But they've got new ownership back and they're relaunching. So this is their plan that they're relaunching with. They're rolling it out. They're calling it their beta test, which is a basic, standard, premium, or pro plan. You can see right on there. I'm going to zoom and enhance the multipass there so that it's a little clearer on the screen. So the basic plan's $10 a month, and it says you could see 1 to 3 movies. And the reason it's variable is because down here it tells you how many credits a movie cost. So on a weekday, Monday through Thursday, or a weekend, Friday through Sunday, any opening time to 3:59 p.m., a movie will cost you 10 credits.
Okay, so they're trying to do kind of an Audible kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's a way to look. I think the way this new one, see in the original MoviePass, it was just you could see 1 movie a day, and it was just whatever. They didn't even upcharge for IMAX or any of the like premium format. You could even
Yeah.
get those. It was just like, wow, okay, so let's go to town. So we've got that. So what's nice at 10 credits, if you for the month under the basic plan, you get 34 credits a month, and the credits you don't use roll over to the next
Okay,
month.
so you could theoretically save up credits from one month to the next.
Exactly. So that way so you could keep going, you could save up the credits. You can still only, and the way it works is you get a MoviePass like credit card. And you on the MoviePass app, you reserve a time at the theater you want to go to, and it puts the money on the card and you can buy the ticket with it. So it's, it does mean that you kind of have to be at the theater. You can't really do the downside is you can't do the advanced reservation thing. So that is a limiting factor, but the reason that has to be is because MoviePass kind of exists outside of the theaters.
Right.
So the only way to really be able to do the advanced ticketing would be to have a partnership with the theaters, and none of the theaters have really signed on to it. So I am intrigued to still see if this version works. This one makes a little more sense because it does have limits involved.
It's interesting though. You'd think the theaters would definitely be on board with this because don't they make most of their monies off concessions anyway?
Oh yeah. So this
Gets more people in there, which is kind of the goal.
It does.
Plus, like something like this would be great for me, with the kids and everything. Like, there are times when we've wanted to go see a movie, and it's like, all right, but there's 7 of us. So after we get through the door, we've already spent $65 just to walk in.
Yeah. So,
and then if we go get snacks, I mean, a trip to the movie theater ends up costing for one movie like $250, and it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna go watch a movie.
and you can see they've put the limits that they put on are pretty clear, because if you read the site here, in addition to having the credit system.
Mm-hmm.
They also limit it to standard 2D screens.
Yeah, but like
So,
say I've got the standard package there, $20 a month, right? That's 72 credits. So like if you scroll down, yeah, if it's like 10 credits, right?
Yep.
I can get 7 people in there for a show that month, still have 2 credits left over, and not spend $60+ just buying the tickets.
That's true. Because it's 5 to 11 movies a month. It doesn't. Let me pull up the app because I actually signed. I was as a previous MoviePass subscriber. I was allowed to participate in this beta plan, the beta test. Ooh, so I signed up for that basic for $10 a month, right? I figure I can find one movie a month to go to. In fact, next week we'll be watching a Sword Art Online progressive movie in the theater. So I'm planning on using the MoviePass to buy that ticket.
Nice.
Because if we go to the pre 4 o'clock showtime, that's only 10 credits for me. So I can still retain a couple more to go. So, all right, what was I looking at? What was I going to look at? So I've got the app. Let me see. I was going to see if I could get more than one ticket because I did want to see if that's a limit. It looks like it does limit me to one ticket at a time. Let me see. Terms and conditions. Let's see. Here's the legal terms hereafter. Terms. License granted. User age restriction. So you have to be over 18 to be a MoviePass member. You have to use the app. You're going to have to allow them to use locations. MoviePass determines. MoviePass may cap the maximum number of credits that users of the MoviePass app may generate each day using the MoviePass app. So, nothing in there saying specifically that I'm reading real quick, but this thing is long and legally.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to see more, but I will say, from the family perspective, if you want to get more people in the theater, you have to find some way to make it less of a giant hit to the wallet for a family. And honestly, if they're making most of their money off concessions, the simple solution is charge less for the damn tickets.
Yeah, that would make sense. But the problem is they can't charge less for the tickets because the movie studios demand the payment. They demand.
Yeah.
I can. This is one thing
the
I
movie
can.
studios will get desperate soon enough because they're losing money. And like I said, there were plenty of times me and the family wanted to go see something in theaters, and we're just like, that is not, no, it's not financially viable for us to go see a movie in the theaters when it's going to cost us so much damn money just to do it.
All right, here's our frequently asked questions section. So we've got that. Let's do one more zoom in for there. All right. How much credits? The credits will vary by showtime. You must be at the movie theater to be able to check in. All right. How many movies can I see in a month? Yes, up to 2 months of your unused credits will roll over. For example, if your plan is 23 credits a month, okay. Can I?
Oh, you had something there that I thought was it, and then it went away.
All right, here we go.
A little more. Yeah. How do I get my 10 friend requests? Oh, wait, what is that?
Oh, so if each person who joined the waitlist will receive 10 friend invites that they will be able to send to friends when they become a member. So I could send you an invite to actually join MoviePass.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like this may be limited to the person who has the service, but it's like, what's the family option? Make a family option.
Yeah, it's interesting that they don't address that specifically.
Apparently, they don't think families watch movies, and it's like, it's just because we can't afford to.
Let me go back to. I like the plans as Gary, because I feel like for $10 a month, if you can like if you go to movies before 4 o'clock and you can see 3 movies a month for $10, that's a pretty decent deal.
Dude, I waste more than $10 a month, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you got a theater nearby, you're a little bit out of the way. So you don't have one that's really in the vicinity. So you have to drive a little. That could be the downside. Like if you have to drive to get to the local theater, so you're spending a lot of time in the car.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's see, what do we got coming out? Let's pull up the release calendar, because all right, so we're going to because we're going to get into this a little bit later in the show too. They're doing a lot more releases of anime OVAs, like movies, into the theaters. So I've been enjoying that a lot. I think both of us have been basically just jumping, jumping in on being entertained by anime in the last few months, since
I mean, I've
regular
all but
shows.
completely rejected Western media because they just aren't entertaining me anymore. So yeah, I've been a lot more into the anime.
I mean, I've been consuming mass quantities of anime. So, all right, here's our coming soon: Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, February 17th. I mean, for using a MoviePass ticket, I'd go see that one. Knock at the Cabin, February 3rd. That one looks interesting, but it's M. Night Shyamalan, so I'm not as trusting of it. Sword Art Online, Progressive, Scherzo of Deep Night. Scherzo of Deep Night. I don't even know how to pronounce it right, but going to see that one. Creed 3. I mean, I've saw the first two. Cocaine Bear on February 24th. That'd be worth a MoviePass ticket. In fact, let's instead of me just reading them off, let me see if I've got a. Get that on screen so that we can actually share that with the audience. Here's our coming soon. This is why all those other fancy YouTubers have producers who can have all this stuff ready to go. All right. This is what we got coming up. All right. I've never heard of Marlowe. I'm going to X that. I'm just going to forget it. Knock at the Cabin is interesting looking. Like I said, Quantumania. I am not going to be probably going to see Magic Mike Last Dance. I think I'd skip that even with a MoviePass.
What?
Emily, I think this is about Emily Bronte. Maybe. There is Sword Art Online Progressive, the next one.
Okay, so that's the first one that I've seen here that I would actually go look. I would actually go watch that.
Yeah. So okay, so we've got one for you. You're not going to go see Ant-Man Quantumania?
No, not really.
Even if for $10 you get 3 movies. So yeah. Titanic 25th. Oh my God, that movie came out 25 years ago.
Yeah, who cares?
I'm thinking more about the fact that movie came out right after I started working at AMC theaters. And so that was 25 years ago. That's disappointing.
Now this next one I might go see.
Cocaine Bear. Yeah, I do want to see that one. So we'll go see that one. Scream, the new one.
Wait, what's Cocaine Bear rated?
Oh, it's rated R.
Then I probably can't bring my daughter. She's the one who loves the spooky stuff.
Oh, Cocaine Bear is not spooky. Cocaine
Oh,
Bear is just straight
it
like
says it's thrills and chills, man.
no. It's the equivalent of a slasher, but with a bear. So
Okay. I may have to watch it and see if it's okay for the daughter then.
yeah. Then so that covers February, right? So I think if I'm looking to try to get 3 movies out of my movie pass in a month, I'm gonna get, let's see, one. Oh, dang it! I hate the menus that are like this. 2 definite, which is the Sword Art and the Ant-Man Quantumania, and then I can fill in. Oh yeah, and Cocaine Bear is also February, so 3. So I've got my 3 good to go. So then we move to March. We got Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, that's interesting since we just brought that up. That movie looks so bad to me. The budget looks bad. The effects look terrible. I just don't like it.
I'm gonna have to, I will probably watch it before I make my final judgment. It doesn't look good right now. It does not look good. I think half the reason that the going back to the OGL, saga, I think half the reason that they backed off on the OGL was because a lot of the community were like, okay, we're boycotting that Dungeons and Dragons movie, and they really are hoping to have at least a moderate amount of success from that movie. Um, I think they're hoping it will capture the younger audience and make a whole bunch of new converts to come to D&D. I don't think it's going to do that. I don't think so at all. But we'll see. We'll see if the movie's any good. I don't think it is. I don't think it is going to be, but I will watch it to find out.
Yeah. So we'll maybe, you know what? I'll use a movie pass ticket, and if I can use 2, because March is a light month for me, I'll spot you a ticket. Because look at this, I don't really have any desire to see Scream 6. It looks terrible to me.
No, but John Wick 4?
Yeah,
I'll
but
go see
there's
John Wick 4.
well, here's the thing then. So the 2 tickets for Dungeons and Dragons, then you'll pay for your own for John Wick.
Super Mario Brothers?
That's not till April. So
I'll
that's
probably go see that.
So that's a so.
Yeah, it's April.
Oh, come
And
on, man.
Renfeld, again, never heard of it.
All right, so they only have come like this is how weak the release lineup is. Look, they're only going through like April. Although that is that Nick Cage in Renfield?
Looks like it might be. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that's
Nick Cage.
Nick Cage. Yep, and Nicholas.
That
Hoult.
might be fun then. That like Nick Cage. Some of his weird movies are surprisingly entertaining.
Did you see the one where he was like locked in the Chuck E. Cheese?
Yes,
that was like demon infested.
The Five Nights at Freddy's ripoff that they did.
Which I think is somehow going to end up being better than any Five Nights at Freddy's movie they end up making.
Oh, that movie was freaking funny. We should watch that with Mad and them.
Oh yeah, because for our viewers who haven't checked it out, we participate frequently in the Movies with Mad, where we watch high quality entertainment and make comments as we enjoy them.
Yeah, all you gotta do is go look up Mad Barber Entertainment. You can find all sorts of fun content.
Yeah, Mad Barber, shout out Mad Barber Entertainment, Movies with Mad. It's good stuff. You can watch Slender and Mad as police officers getting points. There's a highlight reel available. It was high quality. I think you were playing that on PC, right? It wasn't even console.
Yeah, PC Master Race.
I just can't keep up with PC, man. I might get a Steam Deck. I've heard the good things and bad things, but at least it's like something I don't have to constantly update. But all right, so we watched. Yeah, we kind of went over that. Now, so what we were talking about a little bit, which is our mass quantity of anime that we've been consuming. So one thing I did do is I went and saw last weekend the feature that was released for That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. They did a feature release. It was called the Scarlet Bond. So, for those who are listening, to just get you caught up, it's an isekai, meaning it's a main character was a person transported to another world. In this case, he got transported to another world where he was reincarnated as a slime monster.
Was he taken out by Truck Coon as well?
He was taken out by a knife wielding assailant by getting in front of someone who was being mugged and saving their life.
Okay.
So it was a salaryman, didn't really have time for any of his own life, gets killed in an act of self-sacrifice. So he gets reincarnated into different worlds. Of course, the goddess who does it allows him to make requests because he died in such a nice manner. So he gets some OP skills, OP being overpowered. And those, because that's standard issue, right? You want your isekai main protagonist has to have some kind of overpowered skill. In this case, what he really does, it's kind of got like it's a weird mix, which I think is true for the best isekai and fantasy animes, which is there's good action, but most of it is just really solid slice of life anime where you're just going around doing things, hanging out with characters and getting to know them. And that's why this show is so popular, because it has such popular. All right, so this is the main character, Rimuru. He's the slime that gets reincarnated. You can see some background characters that are obviously quite popular with people online. Hey, Slender, can you guess which character has quite a following online?
Is it the girl in the suit jacket with the enormous cleavage?
Yes, you nailed that one in one guess. That is.
I'm just going based on what I know about the internet.
So, because based on your weebology knowledge, and you're not going to be out weebologist because unfortunately the only weebologist we know wasn't able to make the show tonight. So, what do you think the very large busty character's attitude towards the main character would probably be?
This is an isekai, right?
Correct.
She's probably in love with him.
Ding, ding, ding. As is every other girl.
Yeah, and the pink-haired girl there, she's probably in love with him too. And that girl standing next to him, she's probably in love with him too.
Oh no, you not correct on that one.
Oh really?
Nope, because this is an an official movie, right? So, and I'll fast forward to, let's see, one part.
Oh, is she already spoken for by one of the other guys?
Correct.
Okay, well okay. That's all you had to tell me.
Yeah.
That's the only reason any single girl automatically falls in love with the protagonist in an isekai. We know this.
This is true.
Like, I just finished watching Gate, which, add that to the list of Ascendant Art, because Gate was a really fun anime. But what did
I've been telling you
him do?
I've been telling you since we've been doing the show that you needed to watch Gate. I just found
I couldn't watch it because I didn't have a service that allowed me to. And then
you told me about
High Dive, and
yeah.
Now I got a service that allows me to. I've been watching a lot of anime on that service.
I gotta watch The Eminence in Shadow because that's also on High Dive, and I've heard good things about that. And it's got a dub, so you can watch it too. But so you finally watched Gate. Now do you see why I enjoy that one so much, since it's got the SDF guys, self-defense force from Japan, which is their military, just going in. And my favorite, one of my favorite all-time scenes in any anime is when the army of the Empire goes up against the one little outpost of SDF people that have come in, and they just get destroyed.
I actually really liked the one where they went to help defend that one city, and they sent the helicopters, and they played Flight of the Valkyries.
Yeah, because the guy was like, "I'm gonna do an apocalypse now."
That was my favorite part. But that, like any other isekai, like the main character, every girl who met him fell in love with him, unless they fell in love with one of the other members of his squad.
Does Gate really count as an isekai? It's kind of because I mean he
He
goes
doesn't
to
die,
another
but he goes
world,
to another world.
but he still has access to Japan. He's still going and hanging out in Japan.
I'd still classify it as an isekai.
Yes, technically. I love that he was, and
I mean,
this is
technically, the definition of isekai is just another world.
that's true. That's true. So yeah, I guess it is. What I liked also is that they really nailed the military attitude, where you had basically two types of people in this military. The ones who were like completely gung ho committed, like rah rah military, and then the guys who are like, I needed money, and this was the
Yeah,
only
you
thing
had your
really
go-getters and
available.
your shammers.
I think, and my favorite part about Gate is when the one go-getter in the unit keeps finding out that her lieutenant, who's in charge of it, who is just lazy and she has no respect for it, has like all these skill sets that she's like, he's a ranger, he's a this, he's a that, and he's like, well, I got extra pay for doing that training, so I went and did it.
Wait, so you're telling me our lazy ass, good for nothing squad commander is actually a total badass? Well, yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
And he's doing it to support his otaku like manga habit. He's like,
Yeah, Gate is a good one. But
it
I've
also had
hijacked the conversation. You can get back to your review of this one.
oh no, I like talking about Gate. I've been, like I said, I've been waiting. We should do a wee bout about it. Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime movie, The Scarlet Bond. All right, I'm gonna do a nice. This is for anybody who edits our content who might want to make a short. This movie. All right, shorts. Summary of the movie. One of the ogres that was not in the group that ends up with our main slime character. This is who we're going to follow this movie. He ends up in the service of a queen in another country. During the course of the movie, reconnects with the other ogres who are in the service of our slime main character Rimuru. He asks for assistance with the problems they're having in that country. In the process, they uncover a conspiracy that does relate to the other stuff that's been going on in the time I got reincarnated as a slime main story, but it is very self-contained. They're the focus of it. It's if you enjoy the time I got reincarnated as a slime as a show, you're gonna enjoy this movie. If you are a newcomer who has never seen the show, you're probably gonna not be as comfortable, but it's still standalone enough that I think you could if you're an anime fan, you'll be able to enjoy it. If you're like Slender, who's very familiar with the tropes of isekai, you're going to be able to get in and understand what's going on pretty quickly. If you're not really familiar with any of that, this movie is just going to be completely leaving you at a loss, because if you're again like our friend Mads, who's a certified weebologist, he'd be able to go in and know exactly what's going on. But for everybody else, this movie is a highly recommend if you've already watched the show and enjoy it. A recommend if you enjoy anime and just consume it in general, but may not have watched the show, and probably wait till you can watch it on streaming if you've never watched it before, because you're going to need a little bit more anime knowledge to really enjoy it. Bam, there's my short summary review.
Okay. I mean, I'm sold. I'll probably go and watch the regular series. And
I think you'll end up really enjoying it. It's got elf girls, it's got regular girls, it's got demon lords, it's got fighting, it's got slice of life where Rimuru goes and spends an entire story arc just fighting, just being a teacher. Let's see.
I mean, you had me at slice of life and elf girls. And I like that you're talking about the slice of life so much. I think I've converted you.
Yeah, I started realizing that the stuff I really liked within a lot of the isekai was kind of the slice of life content. It's just because I've watched a few. All right, so there's some new ones that have come. I like I said, I've been watching an awful lot of them. I watched what is it? I got kicked out of the Heroes Party, and then I just opened my own store, like my store. What was the name of? All right, now I've got to look up the name so I can get it right. Anime has the best naming conventions too. I really some of the best stuff. Let me go to my watch list so I can. Banished from the hero's party, I decided to live a quiet life in the countryside.
Yep,
That one was good.
that was a good one.
Parallel World Pharmacy. I
Haven't seen that one.
As like, oh, he's a pharmacist who dies from overworking himself and gets isekai to a world where he's the son of a pharmaceutist, which is that world's pharmacist, and his name is Pharma. His first name is actually Pharma.
So when he's born, he's little Pharma, but then when he grows up, he becomes
he's
big Pharma.
Yeah. Let's see. Some of the other Beast Tamer, Dr. Stone, which is kind of like slice of life with a little bit of, Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation. That is an isekai with some action beats, but for the most part is actually very slice of lifey. So I enjoy that, and that I've started realizing that's what I kind of like the most. Is the action part is pretty good, but the parts where they're just kind of like hanging out and world building and enjoying the characters ends up, that's what like Overlord is, an isekai where you've got a lot of stuff going on with action, but for the most part, the thing that makes it the best, like very entertaining, is the character interactions. So
yeah.
So you've won me over a little bit on that, and I think I've won you over on appreciating isekai anime content, which you had.
I binged Isekai Quartet, so yeah, I'd say you've pulled me in fully.
and you enjoyed the shit out of it too. Don't lie.
Yeah, I love it. And I mean, I'm excited every time I get more Overlord because I really liked Overlord. Overlord's probably one of my favorite anime at this point.
Yeah, I think Overlord's great. I mean, Gate's one of my favorites. I think it probably maybe got onto your top 10 once you watched it. Maybe.
I'd have to think about it. I mean, it'd be close. Be like lower top 10 if it was the top 10. But it's up there.
I mean, you're the one who got me to watch Cautious Hero. The hero is overpowered but overly cautious.
Yeah, she was hilarious.
That was great, and that one is.
If I'm gonna go fight a demon lord, I gotta get shredded.
And you've watched So I'm a Spider, So What, right?
Yeah.
And that one is an isekai, so that one's great. Devil's a Part-Timer is a reverse isekai, but you got me on that one. That one's awesome. That's slice of life, though, man.
Yeah, I feel like there should almost be like a separate subgenre that is the combination of isekai and slice of life, and we could call it like slice-ikai or something.
Oh, our weebologist, yeah, had to clean up a little, having a smoke before heading to pick up the girlfriend. Well, that's all right. I know that when you were on earlier on Literature Devil's stream, you were really enjoying a lot of there it is. Oh great, I spent all morning battling the weebs and now I come here to see you guys weebing out. Gross. You are a certified weebologist, man. I mean, the only thing that would be better, I think, let me see.
He's probably getting upset because we're not understanding the deeper nuance of the anime we are currently discussing.
Well, clearly we're also not pronouncing things right. That's something that Mads is very, very a perfectionist about, is getting the pronunciations of the words correct.
I've watched movies with him, right?
Yeah. So I think
who are you trying to lie to right now? The audience?
Of course.
I think Matt's the only one in it at the moment. I don't know.
Well, we are going to share something that he'll appreciate. This was so we've talked about it a couple times. This would be the highlight reel from you and Mads streaming game stream last night.
That's the sound of the police.
Let me skip the music just because I don't
I
want.
mean, I figured you picked the white guy, and there weren't a whole lot
Just assume I.
right off the bat.
How dare you assume that I did?
My wife watched this and was like, "You two are gonna get canceled," and I was like, "What?
Where'd he go?
What? We're not
I
gonna
got
get
him.
canceled."
I got him.
Is it the one with the mohawk? Yeah, he is.
Let me have a look at your
Fucking
ID,
ID.
please.
Yeah, ID time.
Like, how many people can be on this game at one time?
I think it's just two. Which upsets me greatly because I wanted to bring in Yeti as like our canine unit.
Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
he's high.
Yeti, you,
can
and,
smell it
and
on
Mads. That's the other
Don't be
thing.
alarmed. There's a black guy coming up behind you. I got him.
Why does it cost so much?
Because you're an idiot.
You're an asshole.
Because you're poor.
Turning it up
That's why.
because Matt could barely hear
Everything's fine.
himself.
You're good to go.
All
Bye.
What I did appreciate is Matt, as the former police officer, could,
Alright,
could
let's
smell
go on.
marijuana everywhere he
tickets.
was going in this virtual
I don't like
world.
that you're taller than me.
And I'm the Asian.
Right? Oh, I see a car up ahead. I'm gonna
Ciel-
write a ticket to.
Ed Fabricio.
That's a made up name. Get him for having a made up name.
It's like Rolo Tomasi from
don't have
LA
that much money.
Confidential.
Maybe you should have fucking littered. I felt like we were very
No parking,
professional.
Noon to 4 p.m.
We did a
Oh,
great
the son of a
job.
bitch. You know, he's lucky I got shit to do. I'd wait around till noon and tow his ass.
See how
You were
professional we
professional.
are?
Oh, plant
Yeah,
drugs in the car.
did we
Why
leave
would
the
I plant
part in
drugs
where you
the car when
negligently
nobody's in it?
discharged the
Dummy.
firearm?
That's why you're not a cop on here. Look at this motherfucker almost got hit
I
by
was
the car.
op testing the weapon.
What was that? Are you
There it
what?
is. There's where you draw it.
You get us fired on our first date.
What are you talking about?
Yours is unloaded, right?
Yours isn't loaded, right?
Huh?
We're supposed to unload them first, right?
You
Nobody reacted. That's weird.
Yeah, you skipped
One of
it.
those neighborhoods.
I'm skipping content that might get us struck.
This guy looks suspicious.
Because we're not a YouTuber with all those
Najar
connections.
Stop! Put
Elijah.
your hands in the air.
What the fuck
Shit,
is
did that
happening?
just happen?
Is that where you lost points
It
for
was
the
just a
taser?
taser, bro. Oh man, we lost 10 points on that.
That
I don't
was.
know. I'm not sure why we lost 10 points.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, aiming of a stun gun. That's what cost us so many points.
Put that shit away. Aha. Wait.
I just negligently
Ah.
discharged a round into a storefront. You pointed a taser at somebody.
All right, that'll make good.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked
Hopefully,
up,
it won't
man.
get struck by anything else.
Is it bad? I can already tell which license plates are valid by the color. If they're pink, they don't stink.
Yeah, that is kind of bad, actually. I'm gonna
What's
have
funny is
to.
I'm actually excited
yeah,
to play this
search you.
game again because we've leveled up, so
Oh
we
my
should
God,
be
why
like
are you frisking her, bro?
we should be
She
getting
looks
bigger
good.
crimes in the future.
Is that where you just inappropriately
it's found,
frisk the
okay.
girl?
You're
Just
fine then. Now I'm going to issue a violation for jaywalking.
Yeah, it's
You
not
will be fined for
1990. You're not
jaywalking.
Alanis
You'll
Morissette.
cost
Stop wearing
$25.
Doc Martens with a dress.
Hey
Hey,
there.
how's it going, lady?
You're good to go. Bye.
Man, you didn't get a penalty for that. How are you getting away with it? It's because you're Asian. This is some bullshit.
Yeah, I've
What
got
else?
that.
Double shift?
I've got that pass. I don't know any better. In my home country, we don't fine people for jaywalking. We just black bag them and they never get seen again.
Man, this neighborhood looks really Asian. You know what I mean?
This is my neighborhood. Remember how I shot this storefront just a couple minutes ago? And nothing happened. Nobody
Okay.
cared.
Yeah, everybody looked away.
You ain't got shit on me.
Oh, somebody gets daywalked because I shot. No, that one's mine.
What?
He ran because I shot.
Well, you better run faster because he's getting away.
I got him. Got him.
Show me your ID,
Gonna need to see some ID.
You should just stand
Sure.
in the background
Here you go.
drawing your weapon every time he gets the ID.
This guy's name is Wang De Hago. The Hago Wang.
This
Oh,
is
his
going to be
di-
what we
his
do with our
eyes are
show now,
dilated.
Slender. I'm going to have
Time
you
to
do some
frisk.
Let me
gaming
pat you
streams
down
with
in case
Mads,
you're
and
carrying something
we'll just
illegal.
watch it.
That's not what a pat down is for. A pat down is for officer safety, but that's okay. Dude, bro, a switchblade and satin gloves.
Going to Inception levels of stealing
Can I
Mads
tase him?
content.
Stay
All right,
Gucci,
free to
Slender.
go.
Stay
Maybe white.
Enjoy
Gucci.
your day.
No, we were playing police officers, so it was
Did
buckle
you
up,
remember
kittens.
his name? Because it didn't sound like it.
Gonna jaywalk over the station.
Is it very meta to be
We
providing
just issued a
commentary
citation,
to your own
and then he looks back
game
and
stream?
sees us doing the same damn thing.
I mean, it's
I haven't
just a
caught
little
any
weird,
speeding,
but
except that one that was going 30. You
it
did
makes
not
me
just
laugh
throw that
every
at me,
damn
bro.
time because of the
Are you
stupid
serious
shit
right
that
now?
we
Show
did.
me your ID,
Are you
please.
serious?
Yeah, sure, officer.
Every time you draw that gun.
Wait, who gets
Wait,
laid right
wait.
now? Wait, is it the black guy? It's the black guy. I don't know why I'm asking.
And
I'd
that is
like to
why
see
my
your
wife
ID,
said we're
please.
getting canceled.
Here,
Hello,
officer.
officer.
Yeah, this is.
Oh, he's not even the right kind of blood.
Oh my god. I'm going over here to write tickets. There are green crumbs on this person's shirt.
Oh, bro, hold on. I'm coming.
This is gonna get hot. I gotta search this guy.
I got my gun. Hold on, I'm coming.
It's still funny.
I guess I have to do a frisk, right?
No,
like
you
I
can
can't
search
do an
him.
evade- I
Yeah,
can't.
no, yeah, because that's in plain sight, bro.
Okay. I'm
That's
searching.
probable cause, homie.
The search. Please
I
cooperate.
love Matt applying the genuine police rules to it.
I mean, they worked. He was right.
What'd you find?
Marijuana, makeup, wallet, human teeth.
What?
This
Definite
guy
what?
got human
Really?
teeth. Yeah.
Yo, man, what's up with the teeth? Ask him
Sounds
about
like
the teeth.
sounds like Seven.
I
Like,
wish
what's in
I
the
could.
box?
See if you can ask him about the teeth. Does it have an option to ask about the teeth?
No, it doesn't. Should I detain him?
You I don't know what the law is in this city if we can arrest. How much marijuana did he have on him?
0.5.
Oh, no, write him a ticket, man. Cut him loose on that. And warn him if we come across somebody, a dead body missing teeth, we have his information.
I'm still like 150 meters out.
All right. It's a traffic accident.
I've arrived at the scene.
Should we skip to when you
Dude,
guys were
First thing we do
driving?
is we issue people parking tickets, right? Because they're not supposed to be stopped there.
Let's see.
I mean, you can skip ahead, yeah.
Can you tell me what you saw?
I saw how this person suddenly.
Don't want to give it all away.
Okay. I mean, I'm Asian, so I'm definitely not.
There we go.
That's the sound of the police. Oh, there it is again.
Oh,
Red light?
You gotta go a little further. A little
What are you
further.
doing?
What? I'm driving.
I can let you know when it is.
I was on the police computer, but then I came out and we were
all right.
across the middle and
Our insurance, please.
Right there.
Okay, officer.
Is this because Matt
There
gets
you go.
out and then you decide you're gonna start driving? I can hear the car starting.
This license. Wait, where are you going?
I'm driving now.
I smell alcohol.
You smell alcohol?
Slowly.
So
step
when you
out
said
of
that,
the
I
car
turned
and
back
move to the
around.
sidewalk, please.
Did you get
I just
something?
heard the crunch. I wish. Did you like? You need to
Maybe.
start like
Okay.
recording
Check
your
your
I don't
viewpoint
think
too,
that smoke is
Thunder, so we
supposed
can
to
see
come out of
you
the
doing
vehicle.
that stuff.
Yeah, next time I think I'll
Okay,
record
this is a
my
bad
point of view
idea.
as well.
Wait,
I
what
think I
the
heard an
hell is-
accident close by.
Yeah, it was right next to us. I guess I'll take care of this accident. Don't pay attention to the damage to our vehicle.
How many
please.
accidents did you cause in this
that was
one
part of this
maneuver,
accident,
Slender? Was it like 3?
Okay, God's honest truth. That accident really did
All right,
happen
now
all
what
on
the
its
fuck
own.
happened here?
The
Why is
reason
our
our
car
vehicle was
smoking?
smoking was because I hit the street
There was
lamp.
this accident.
Who are
and they
these
hit us.
people? What happened?
There was an accident. It was their fault. It had nothing to do with me.
I don't want nothing to do with this. Lost control. Dude, you can see he's drunk, right? Have you?
Yeah,
have you?
This time I can see he's drunk.
Uh-huh.
I'm just taking a sample to see if you've been drinking and driving.
Oh my, did he, dude? Oh my God, these people are hitting the car.
0.112 blood alcohol content.
Yeah, arrest them.
Wait, what are you doing over there? Is there another crash?
Yes, because you dumb fucking, you caused this whole wreck. I got 2 more cars back here I'm having to deal with.
Hey, we're getting all kinds of points for
I
Yeah,
think
that was like an
everybody-
automatic promotion. Okay, like we racked up so many points that day.
you're gonna get a whole commendation for having an accident. So that is an excellent sample of the kind of high quality gaming streaming content that was available through Mad's channel, Mad Barber Entertainment, that we're there over there quite often. So anybody who is listening to this on our Twitter space or whatever should definitely check that out. It's on YouTube, and it will crack. I watched the whole thing and it cracked me up like ridiculously. So, so I'm guessing what is that something you and Mads are planning on doing again?
I mean, I'm hoping so. I had a lot of fun, and I think it will get even more fun as the crimes continue to grow.
Oh, well, thanks for hanging out, Mads. I appreciate you coming by and also making this high quality entertainment we could share. We'll try to not put as much weeb content in on Fridays. Oh yeah, there you go, Slender. It's happening.
Sweet.
You guys are gonna be Miami Vice over there, like
Officer Slender and Mad, right again.
That's good stuff. Like, go ahead, stop. There we go. Stop sharing. Oh, this has been an entertaining and fun show.
Yeah. Kind of a slow news week. Not a whole lot popped off that I remember. And then some things popped off that I just didn't care to talk about because they just don't matter to me.
Are you talking about the stuff with the girl with the thing and the getting people all kicked off Twitter?
Yeah, I mean, you're kicked off Twitter. Who cares?
I will say, I definitely think there's a lot of suspiciousness to it.
Yeah, it definitely seems somewhat shenanigans-esque.
Oh yeah, there's some shenanigans. Both of us have had some experience with some people who do some online shenanigans, and this seems shenanigan-y, I think is the right way to describe it. Anytime you like super overreact when someone asks you just a basic question, so here's the thing. If you are a person who's advocating based on your own experience, you should expect that people will ask you a question about that experience. And you shouldn't like overreact and get people banned off any platform for just asking questions.
You know what? Fuck you for asking me that question.
Yeah, heartfelt. So you've got to have, I think, a reasonable expectation that questions will come up. And I think a regular person who's actually genuinely maybe doing that kind of stuff will just talk about their experiences and be able to handle it that way.
Mm-hmm.
When people react the way we're seeing, it's generally a defensiveness indicator. Like, hey, I've got something that you don't want to know about.
Or just pull the Donald Trump on it. Be like, that's a stupid question. Next. Yes, you. No, I'm done talking to you. You. I want to hear your question now. Like,
yeah. So
like, why does it always have to turn into this giant fight? Like, that's the part I don't get.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing. I'm speaking in code because I don't feel like having our entire presence on online platforms nuked because this person is being super vindictive and kind of a jerk. I don't think, regardless of other things, it's suspicious at a minimum, and it's super sketchy, and probably an indication. I know this word gets thrown a lot around a lot of a possible grift maneuver, if you wanted to go there. But we'll see. This kind of stuff, once the internet audits are on the case, things tend to get dissected, especially if you've been
Yeah, and the more you try and bury something, the more they're gonna dig up. Like, it is better to just lay down and surrender.
Well, we're talking about someone who's lived, and we've all had this experience. If you have been in a young adult into adulthood post around 2000, you've probably got a decent online record of what you were doing and when. It's just a thing that's happened. Like, if you, especially younger people, um, who have been online, who got into social media early, there people forget about MySpace and
Yeah, dude, thank God social media didn't exist when I was in high school.
well, in addition to MySpace, there was LiveJournal was big with a lot of people. Like, there are people who were really, I want to say, very online from around the mid 2000s on. Like, they just have a record like that you can backtrack. You don't even need to be incredibly thorough to find it. And this person that we're talking about, Miss Azure, is that Spanish for a certain color? Am I saying it
Azul?
wrong? Azul. Okay, yeah. Miss Azul.
Azure is
Azure.
blue. Azul is blue. They're all
right.
It's blue.
All right. So we'll just say Miss Azul because that means the color blue. So Miss Azul has allegedly and had an online presence almost continuously since the mid 2000s. So there's going to be people who find stuff out and do it in a fairly short order.
Well, and this goes to the whole, like, if you've got a cell phone, yeah. And I think Tim Pool brought this up, but like, whether you have a Facebook profile or not, you have a Facebook profile. Or at least Facebook has a profile of you.
Oh yeah, that came out years ago that Facebook will build shadow profiles based on
Yeah, and there's all sorts of information that's like everything you do, it touches the internet. Like almost everything you do on a day-to-day basis at this point touches the internet in some way, shape, or form. And like I work in cybersecurity. I've gone to several conferences. Like one of the most interesting things talks I attended was the internet doesn't know when you're dead. Because it's amazing how much like your presence will persist even after you're dead. Your presence will persist on the internet, and the internet will still be collecting data on you.
Yeah, and it reminds me almost, it's like we're getting into Black Mirror shit where there was it was an episode with with Peggy Carter, the actress who played her, and where her fiance husband, I forget whether it was fiance or husband, passes away when she's like pregnant, just found out she's pregnant. And they have technology where basically they scrub your social media and online presence and create an artificial intelligence around you, like the former person. And they make like a chat bot with it so that she can talk to the dead person, like you're never going to be truly dead now, because they can create, if you've made enough tweets.
Dude, but what if your social media was primarily used for internet trolling?
Well, that's
your chatbot is just like a complete asshole that's always just saying mean things and taking contrarian positions on things just to piss you off.
that would be terrible. Like, I would think that your family would know and maybe choose not to have the AI chatbot built if you were just a troll jerk. So it's interesting that, yeah, even if you're not online, you're online. And if you are online, you're really online. So, and speaking of online, we'll, I think, do our one last thing that we do consistently, where we do actually have one consistent thing that we look at.
Yeah, is there anything exciting yet? I know we were getting close on some things that I was very curious to see.
So we're into Christmas week,
All
which is
right.
cool. And you can see that Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan jumped right into number 2 spot. So that's pretty big success right there for Amazon.
Is that a new season?
Yeah, a new season dropped,
Cool.
which is cool.
And
And
Glass
here,
Onion jumped straight to the top. I don't think it'll stay there.
no,
for very
no, but
long.
here's your one. Look what finally
This is
came
opening week for The Witcher Blood Origin, isn't it?
That's opening week.
Oh man, I can't wait to see what it looks like next week. It's
So
gonna be bad, man.
Opening week, it managed to hit number 8, right above Matilda the Musical,
Yes, and under Coco Melon.
The Recruit, Yellowstone, Emily in Paris,
I
Wednesday.
mean, Yellowstone, from everything I've heard, like Yellowstone is awesome. Everybody loves Yellowstone, but like
Yeah, but
you're losing
Yellowstone's
to
also
Wednesday
available. Yeah.
and Coco Melon.
But bear in mind, Wednesday had been out like
Yeah,
5-6 weeks at that point.
yeah. I
So,
still don't
and-
see the appeal. I'm not a fan.
So just on the straight original content, it was number 5, but it's a low number 5. Look at like it's not even pulling what House of the Dragon and what
Dude, it
Lord
will
of the
be
Rings.
interesting to see how quickly it falls, and then compare and contrast that with the first couple of weeks of Velma, when Velma finally hits these charts.
Oh, Velma. That is going to be
It's gonna be
terrible. Yeah, Velma's going to be
bad. Like I
what's your-
said, because Blood Origin and Velma passed each other on the stairs. Blood Origin started out down in the single digits audience score and clawed its way up to, I think it's at like 12 or 13% now. Velma did the exact opposite. It started at like 12 or 13% and has since dropped down to, I think, 6% now on Rotten Tomatoes. And that's with nearly 10,000 reviews.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It's got 9,939 reviews and it's sitting at 6%.
That is one of the worst ratings ever on Rotten Tomatoes. And I think the critic reviews have dropped down below 50 too.
Yeah, it looks like critic reviews have it at 42%.
42. Yeah. Earlier today I checked, it was 44. So yeah, they're falling sub 50 pretty quick now.
Would you like to know what the Rotten Tomatoes critical consensus is based on that? It's Jinkies, this radical reworking of the beloved mystery team, has plenty of attitude and style, but it doesn't have the first clue for how to turn its clever subversion into engaging fun. For considering current year agenda, that is about as scathing a review as you're going to ever see for something like
I was going to say they put it really nicely, but they're kind of on point there.
Yep, it's just ridiculous.
As I said, I think we discussed this a little last week too, but like the only thing that really pisses me off is when people say they got the characters right. It's like, no, they most certainly did not.
Nope. I think I saw something on Twitter where somebody posted, I think it was a screenshot of a certain adult type material movie where with the commentary that the adult parody of Scooby-Doo was more faithful to the characters than Velma.
It probably was.
And was more respectful of the lore. So it's crazy. And so this is the acquired section, and we've talked about it before. People just put TV on in the background and they live with it because NCIS, Big Bang.
Yeah, you
Theory,
got to admit
Friends,
though,
Gilmore.
Yellowstone is dominating. It really is.
And Yellowstone is on regular TV as well. So it's beating, like when Yellowstone is actually making the number 5 overall when it's available on regular television. It's something we talked about when House of the Dragon was playing, that House of the Dragon's ratings were kind of on streaming were getting a little undercut because it was on regular HBO.
Yeah.
And so it was showing to millions of people that way. you got to give Yellowstone some credit. People are enjoying the hell out of it. That's a genuine hit show.
Yep.
So, and I think the guy who created it he's done like 3 spin-offs now of Yellowstone. And he's also doing one with Sylvester Stallone called Tulsa King that is supposed to be pretty good.
Is that like Tiger King?
It's a mob guy who moves out to Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay.
It's supposed to be really good. It's
I don't know.
Sylvester Stallone I think Sylvester Stallone is a very underrated actor. So
I like Stallone. I don't know much about Yellowstone. I don't know. I'd have to look into it and see if it's my jam. Probably not.
yeah, I mean Yellowstone I think would be your jam, but because you have family and people out, you drive out that way and visit people in the vicinity.
Yeah. I mean, I've
Sort
gone to
of.
Montana several times.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you have desires to have a compound. If you could afford and have a ranch, you probably would.
You're making a lot of good points here.
I feel like Yellowstone's checking a lot of boxes for you. That might be one of the first content that breaks your anime streak.
We'll see.
You have Comcast now, right?
I mean, my anime streak technically was broke because I watched that 90s show. And I didn't think it was terrible. I just didn't think it was great.
Yeah, we talked about it because they didn't. I still think not even addressing having Hyde there is weird.
Yeah, like I said, the thing that bugged me is as a 90s kid, I know what 90s kids were like. And those felt like 90s kids that were written by 2000s kids.
I was a 90s kid. I grew up like my prime formative years were the 90s.
Same.
Like class of 99. So
Class of 2000.
there you go. So I thought 99 was bad till I saw how bad like the class of 2000 merch was for just like leaning into being the millennium.
Yeah.
It was for us, how like what I can't get away from is that I'm sure you might remember this, how often they played the Prince song for the class of, like when you were the class of 99. I was so just done with that song. Like I was not going to party like it's 1999. This song, no, stop it. And you guys had all the like goofy millennium stuff.
I mean, they thought that the world was going to come to an end because all the computers were going to die.
Yeah, the Y2K bug.
Y2K.
The best thing that came out of the Y2K bug was the Chris Jericho as a wrestler, where his like persona became Y2 Jericho.
I don't know. I think the best thing that came out of Y2K was the movie Office Space.
Was that 2000? Did that come out? I
sit in a cubicle and I update bank software for the 2000 Switch. I mean, at least that's what I'm supposed to do. Mostly I just sit at my desk and try to look like I'm working. And
well, that's just a straight shooter with upper management written all over him.
Yeah, but the whole thing was that the place they worked for, that was their job. They were just the guys who updated software for the 2000 Switch.
That's right, because that's how they figured out how to put the worm into the rounding transactions.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, was ripped off from Superman 3.
I thought it was Superman 5. They said it was Superman 5 in the movie.
No, it was Superman 3 with Richard Pryor. Which it's not a good Superman movie. That's the one where Superman fights the evil version of himself.
Yeah.
In the garbage dump, and it's pretty interesting. And when Superman becomes evil, like he gets a 5 o'clock shadow and his suit becomes a different color. It gets muted. It was like, all right, that's interesting choices.
He's like lower saturation Superman.
Yeah, we're gonna turn those colors down a little bit, and that'll
dial down the contrast, reduce saturation, lower brightness.
Exactly. And
Good to go.
you didn't have CGI back then. You couldn't have Zack Snyder do those epic, angry black suit Superman moments. So you had to do it a little more nuanced. But, whatever.
All right. Well, I think
All
we've,
right.
we've covered all the things we need to cover. I think we've talked about a lot of Ascendant Art today. We didn't even have to talk about too much shitty stuff.
I know. We did a review of
Quite a bit of good news, in fact.
Yeah, Wizard of the Coast back down. MoviePass seems like it could be a good deal. Time I Reincarnated as a Slime. Scarlet Bond is a good movie. If you like that series, you're gonna love it. And rating, and then you and Matt had some excellent gaming time, which was definitely Ascendant Art.
Yeah. That was my first time doing a game stream, so that was a lot of fun for me.
That's right. You're gonna be right up there with Dr. Disrespect. You and Matt will have your own mega channel for gaming. You just need to figure out how to get Yeti in there. That's the main thing. All right, but that was a great show.
Find a different game that has more multiplayer capacity.
MultiPass. Oh, you know what? They did just put GoldenEye back out for the Nintendo Switch on their streaming, like on their virtual console. I mean, I think GoldenEye is a little overrated because people liked it at the time because it's one of those things where it was the best available at the time.
And that's the thing. Here's what it is. At the time, GoldenEye was the only game in town, so it was the best game in town. But like, I wouldn't even put it on the level of Halo at this point. I really wouldn't.
No, although I would put it on the level of some of the new Halo sequels. So, because those ones suck.
Woo, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna argue with you too much on that. That's a whole weebout we can get into another time.
Yeah, I don't
think
think
a weebout gaming edition.
That would be a good one. We should do that. All right, everybody. I think we're wrapped up. That was a good show. We talked about all sorts of good stuff, so we're kind of gonna, I think, leave it here. Slender, any last words for the audience?
I have nothing further.
I have nothing for you. No.
Nothing.
Nothing.
You get nothing.
You get nothing and you'll like it. But, well, thanks for hanging out with us on a Friday night. We hope you had a great time. And we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.